I moved around a lot, so I went to elementary school in Washington State, and at the time they did not have ADA laws, so I was mainstreamed and I wore hearing aids. And there wasn't a lot of signing in a lot of the places that I moved. For example, in California, they didn't have interpreters, so voicing was the main way of communication, and I was skilled at that. And I remembered in the classroom, the teacher kept turning around a lot, and I had to basically figure out what I was supposed to do by watching the other students' behavior. So if they opened up a book, I would open up my book as well. And the interpreter that was there, since I spoke, they felt that I did not need an interpreter. So the interpreter would sometimes tell me to be quiet. Now, my first real experience with an interpreter was when I was taking a geometry class in my senior year of high school. And really, it was the first time having an interpreter. Well, when I asked for an interpreter and the interpreter was given, I greatly improved in math. So when I went to college, it was really a very good experience because I was able to advocate for myself. I wanted to have an interpreter that had the proper skills. The one I was given didn't really fit me. Their skills weren't where I needed them to be, so I asked for a more skilled interpreter. And that was really my first experience advocating for myself. And it was a good one. A really cool thing that happened when I was in mainstreamed elementary school was that, there was really no carpet in the classroom. And it was very distracting when I was wearing my hearing aids because if there was any kind of sound, such as a desk moving or a chair being moved, I was constantly looking. So, it definitely confused the teacher to think that I was able to hear because I was able to look around at any noise that would happen. But I said, well, it's very hard for me to focus because the sound of all the noises in the back definitely are distracting. So carpet was put in the classroom, and all the kids were very excited and kind of basically thanked me because I was the one who asked for carpet. And that was one of the first times where it made me feel different about being deaf. That it made me kind of unique. Normally, children tend to feel that they want to be included, and everyone was now acknowledging me. So it was a nice experience, and I remember that feeling of, even though I was deaf, and it was a difference, it was still great. Well, well, wearing hearing aids, sometimes you miss things. So you basically, when you were a kid, made it up. And there were a lot of situations where, me and my brothers and sisters would be playing, and if we didn't know something, we would just make it up and act as if we did know it. Whatever, we were kids. We don't know what we're talking about. Well, first off, I wanted to be a lawyer, and my mother said, that's great that you want to be a lawyer, but you need to have a backup plan. Keep in mind that my major was in political science, and most of the time when you graduated, it was very hard to find a job. So it was all about having a backup plan. So me and my brothers and sisters would, make up, books and teach each other, and we'd have all these backup plans behind backup plans. So if one did not work out, you needed to have a plan B, so on and so forth. So if I wanted to be a lawyer, then I wanted to be a teacher, then I wanted to be a writer. So basically, you had to have backup plans. So when I went to college, I had a writing class where I was writing papers for the class, and I would have to constantly be editing and editing and editing. And it was very difficult, and I thought I was the only one. That's not true. All the other kids, all the other hearing kids, were having just as much trouble. And they would actually give me their papers to be edited. And actually, I made a little bit of money off that. I had to figure out, how to make extra money when I was a college student. I really would work doing anything to make some money. When it comes to education, I thought for myself, I thought it would be great to be a teacher because, being a deaf teacher, I thought would be really good. But the politics that are involved is just makes it very not interesting. Now looking back, being a lawyer, I definitely would like to be going to school for that. And being a lawyer for people's rights and, especially knowing my rights, knowing other people's rights. I have a lot of dreams about helping others, fighting for deaf people's rights, making sure that interpreters are more qualified and more skilled. You know, anything that included writing. But right now, I'm not satisfied, but I am pretty close to it.